Transformers 1 Airachnid Anatomy explored. If creepy crawlies give you the jitters, then you might want to step away from the screen. But if you're game for a chilling anatomy exploration, then you're guaranteed to have a blast with this video. Hello people, welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, we'll be talking about a Transformers 1 villain who just made her big screen debut and blew our minds. Meet Airachnid, the psychotic spider-like alien robot who's powerful enough to body slam Optimus Prime and chop off Decepticons' heads with ease. She sees everything with her Demogorgon-like head, has incredible hunting skills, and transforms into a tarantula meets attack drone kind of form. Simply put, Airachnid is a finely designed killing machine who's sometimes confused with Blackarachnia from the Beast Wars Transformers cartoons. But Airachnid is a far more dangerous supervillain in her own right. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
You know I prefer working alone.
So, who really is Airachnid? This Transformer character was introduced into the franchise in the Transformers Prime TV series of the Aligned continuity, which ran between the years 2010 and 2013. Airachnid was an addition to Team Decepticons, but with striking resemblances with the spider-like Predacon Blackarachnia from Transformers Beast Wars continuity of the past. While Blackarachnia had the appearance of a spider-like Decepticon, Airachnid was made to transform into a heavily weaponized stealth helicopter, which is also what gives her the name Airachnid. She was a Decepticon torture expert and assassin, thanks to her murderous attitude and stealth abilities. In the Transformers series, she's infamous for capturing the Autobot RC and her partner Tailgate and torturing them for information. Her sadistic torture methods eventually killed Tailgate, starting a crazy enmity with RC. After the Great War on Cybertron, when the planet was left uninhabitable, Airachnid decided to leave Team Decepticons in favor of a new hobby. She started hunting sentient species across the universe and collecting them as trophies, or just parts of them, particularly their heads. Even humans were not spared from Airachnid's attacks, such as RC's human friend Jack Darby was about to be killed by Airachnid when RC intervened, forcing Airachnid to drill into the ground and flee for the time being. Since then, her primary goal was to torment RC and murder RC's loved ones. Airachnid eventually returned to the Decepticons to prove her worth to Megatron. During a Decepticon clash with the Autobots, Airachnid once let Starscream be captured and left him behind in an enemy camp. Also, in his absence, she served as the second in command of Megatron. Airachnid was also pretty manipulative, because when Megatron left to meet Unicron, Airachnid told the Decepticons that their leader might never return. In retaliation, Megatron sent her on an artifacts tracking mission, which was actually an ambush to kill this psychotic Decepticon. Later, Airachnid managed to lure Megatron into an Energon mine and attempted to kill the Decepticon leader first with one single Insecticon and then with an entire army of Insecticons that she controlled. Eventually, after an intense battle with RC, Airachnid was locked up in an Insecticon stasis pod, giving Megatron control of Airachnid's creepy army. Airachnid's stasis pod remained at the Autobot base till the base was destroyed in another attack and the Decepticons pulled the stasis pod onto their ship, the Nemesis. Later, Airachnid was freed by the human character Silas, who underwent a monstrous transformation and opened Airachnid's pod to drink her Energon. Airachnid fought back, but a small cut in the neck from Silas infected her and turned her into an Energon siphoning vampire. She then reclaimed control of the Insecticons, summoning them all at once to drain them of their Energon. Following her stint in the Transformers Prime show, Airachnid also briefly appeared in comics and games, before finally making a full-fledged comeback in Josh Cooley's recently released animated movie Transformers 1.
Insecticons, heed me. Heed me. Heed me.
How crucial is Airachnid to the storyline of Transformers 1? This dark spider-themed Transformer is voiced by Vanessa Liguori in Transformers 1. We first meet Airachnid in Iacon City's medical center, soon after the Iacon 5000 race was over. Troublemakers Orion Pax and D16 were waiting to be attended, when Airachnid, with all of her 8 legs, walks into the chamber and starts scanning them. Only after Airachnid is assured that they're free of weapons, Sentinel Prime arrives to congratulate Orion and D for their stunt on the racing field. Airachnid appears a little bit eccentric, as she lets out a forceful, creepy laugh at Sentinel's jokes. In this movie, Airachnid is Sentinel Prime's assistant and security head, who has a bunch of death trackers under her command, which transform into drone bots, much like the Vehicons from the Prime continuity. Airachnid plays quite a few crucial parts in the film's storyline. She appears for a second time when Sentinel Prime secretly meets the Quintesson's High Commander on the surface. Airachnid watches over the Quintesson's army, waiting for Sentinel's commands to attack or retreat, but meanwhile she picks up some unwarranted activities on the surface. The mining bots Orion Pax, D-16, and their friends Elita 1 and B-127 were spying on Sentinel's activities from a cliff, and Airachnid tracks them down to a hidden cave. She sends an army of death trackers to capture the mining bots, and she herself focuses her attention on the ancient Prime Alpha Trion. As D and Orion escape with their friends, Airachnid captures Alpha Trion and brings him to Sentinel's court, where Airachnid sadistically enjoys the sight of Sentinel torturing and killing the ancient Prime. Subsequently, Airachnid is dispatched to hunt down the spying robots, who have been captured by the Cybertronian High Guards. Yet again, Airachnid takes her army of death trackers and manages to retrieve D-16 and B-127 from the High Guards and produce them before Sentinel. When Orion Pax tries to rescue his friends from Sentinel's clutches, Airachnid attempts to kill him multiple times. Later, when D-16 turns violent towards Sentinel, Airachnid violently attacks D-16's followers and crashes into the tower, slamming away Elita 1. However, Elita manages to incapacitate this flying transformer by beating her to a pulp. Then, Arachnid's memories are accessed to broadcast footage of Sentinel's secret meeting with the Quintessons across the city, revealing this false Prime's true colors to the Cybertronians. So that's pretty much all the times Airachnid appears in Transformers 1, and we'll discuss what happens to this villain in just a bit. Arachnid's tarantula meets attack drone anatomy, explained. In the Transformers Prime show, Arachnid's alternate mode was a spider-themed helicopter, with her back limbs transforming into the rotor blades, but she's portrayed slightly differently in the Transformers 1 movie. When the toy line was released ahead of the movie, Arachnid was given an alternate beast mode, which transforms her into a spooky, techno-organic, spider-like creature, complete with guns, scanners, and cannons. It's got a front section with a central eye and multiple scanners on either sides of the head. However, in the movie, Arachnid transforms into an attack drone, with Arachnid's robotic legs making up the rotating hover blades. This makes us wonder if Arachnid has a secret third beast form in the animated universe as well, but that remains a mystery for now. What we see instead is a black-tone transformer with 3 pairs of sleek, spider-like segmented metal legs originating from her back. These legs can make Arachnid hover over the ground in her robot mode. She also crawls along on these legs instead of walking. Arachnid has blasters attached to an additional pair of front arms, which fire deadly laser beams. Interestingly, Arachnid is able to float in her robotic form, even before she transforms into a drone. Arachnid perpetually sports an angry expression with her purple eyes glowing threateningly, as if she's always ready to attack. Beyond her facial structure, her head is pretty elongated, as if it houses a big brain. But what it actually contains is countless numbers of neon purple eyes, aka her trusty scanners. Arachnid's head plates at the back unfurl like the Demogorgon head from Stranger Things, and the insides of each of these plates are lined with whirring, rotating mechanical eyeballs. This is undoubtedly the most terrifying feature of Arachnid. As we've mentioned before, Arachnid quickly changes into a battle drone, with her legs getting reshaped as the propellers. Her arm thrusters become the drone's secondary weapons, while a pair of cannon guns act as the primary ones. Her overall structure is built with sleek and angled body parts that also double up as defensive blades, which she pairs with her hand-to-hand combat skills in battle. In one particular sequence, Arachnid's able to wield multiple weapons together by transforming her body parts into sharp blades. The set of limbs emerging from the back transform into a huge single propeller that enables her to fly while attacking with her forearm weapons. This is sort of a transitional form where she's still able to fight in her robot mode while flying like her drone form. She also uses these blades as killing weapons, as she slices up Decepticons with no mercy. The best part about Arachnid is despite her segmented body parts and weaponized appendages, her movements never feel clumsy, and instead make her a smooth killing machine.
I shall remove your very spark.
Arachnid's ominous strengths and powers explored. Don't be fooled by Arachnid's sleek appearance, as she's indeed extremely strong, which is revealed in her encounters with several mighty characters in the movie. Arachnid's powerful enough to incapacitate Alpha Trion, who's one of the original 13 primes created by the deity-like being Primus. Even though Alpha Trion was weakened from years of hibernation, he was still in his lion-like beast mode when Arachnid descended over him in a sudden attack. This also suggests that Arachnid has extremely fast reflexes, as she was able to capture Alpha Trion even before he could fire blasts from his horn or tail. Arachnid was also able to slam Orion Pax into a speeding train and was strong enough to pin him down for a while. Arachnid and Elita 1 engage in an epic clash in the movie when this Spidey Transformer sends Elita 1 crashing through buildings just by kicking her mid-air. Elita's only able to restrain Arachnid by breaking off a part of her leg and pummeling her with it when Arachnid is already weakened from a crash. Arachnid's many eyes, which seemingly provide a 360-degree scan of the surroundings, also make her an extremely skilled tracker and hunter. While guarding Sentinel, Arachnid uses her scanner her eyes to detect threats. But during the face-off with Orion Pax, Airachnid unfurled her head plates to intimidate him with a freaky display. She even admits, "I see everything," which means nothing really escapes her scanner eyes. Arachnid's tracking senses are also extremely enhanced and meticulous, as she was able to figure out the exact location of Orion Pax inside Alpha Trion's cave in a jiffy. Arachnid also serves as a huge memory bank. She sees several times better than other Transformers, and is somehow able to store all the data in her brain device. This gives Orion the idea to access Arachnid's memories and broadcast the truth about Sentinel. Despite her psychotic persona, Arachnid is fiercely loyal to Sentinel. She arrives to save her leader when D16 and his followers are fighting the false Prime. Arachnid displays impeccable fighting skills as she chops off the Decepticons in a murderous frenzy, while transforming multiple times during the fight. In one sequence, Arachnid fires several weapons at once, while constantly rotating on her metallic limbs, launching a 360-degree attack on her enemies. Also, she's got a pretty impressive collection of guns that fire destructive pink lasers, and cannon launchers that blow everything up in pink smoke. In the Transformers Prime series, Arachnid possessed a number of dangerous abilities, such as she was able to spew acid and could incapacitate her victims with her venomous fingertips. She could easily drill through surfaces and burrow into the ground with her abdomen, mostly to escape, but also to incapacitate victims on some occasions. Her go-to move was using her spider legs and hand blasters in battle. One of her deadliest powers was her webbing, with which she frequently restrained her opponents. She webbed up RC, Starscream, and Dreadwing multiple times, either to torture, extract information, or simply to flee the fight. This Arachnid could also manipulate and control the destructive swarms of Insecticons. Once Arachnid turned into a vampire, she could also siphon off energon from her victims using her proboscis. Can Arachnid reproduce? Well, this aspect of Arachnid hasn't really been explored in Transformers lore, but as a Transformer, it makes sense for Arachnid to not procreate in the traditional sense as organic beings do, because Transformers are robotic lifeforms and don't have the conventional reproductive methods. In Transformers lore, Cybertronians are typically created by the deity-like being Primus, or by the supercomputer Vector Sigma, or even by the malevolent Quintessons, depending on the continuity, and there's no mention of any specific reproduction process for Arachnid. After the events of Transformers Prime, the infected Arachnid was banished to a Cybertronian moon by Soundwave, and one wackily speculative fan theory suggests that as a vampire queen, Arachnid developed her own colony on the moon. Who would win in a battle between Arachnid and Blackarachnia? Even though Arachnid is often confused with Blackarachnia, these two are not the same. One can say that Blackarachnia is kind of like the predecessor of Arachnid, that Blackarachnia inspired the creation of Arachnid in the future. Introduced in the Beast Wars continuity, Blackarachnia was originally a maximal protoform which fell into the hands of the mad scientist Tarantulas and was ultimately redesigned as a Predacon. Blackarachnia was a fierce and stubborn antagonist who possessed some cool powers like cyber venom and stealth mode, and had additional 8 limbs protruding from the back, giving her a partial spider form. She was never really a spider-themed vehicle, whereas Arachnid was introduced with the intention of showing her as an aerial spidey-copter. Despite the presence of spider-like elements in their anatomy, and despite both being eccentric villains and both hating Megatron, Arachnid and Blackarachnia share some striking differences. Arachnid is cruel, sadistic, and power-hungry, who remains a villain till the end of her storyline in the Prime continuity, while Blackarachnia shows redemption by switching over to the Maximals faction and falling in love with the noble Silverbolt. When it comes to a comparison of battle prowess, it seems that the Prime continuity Arachnid can pretty much vanquish Beast Wars Blackarachnia, primarily because Arachnid is much more gigantic in size. Also, while Blackarachnia can defend herself in a fight, Arachnid is more than just a defensive fighter. She is, in fact, one of the fiercest of Megatron's Decepticon army, who carries out intergalactic genocide just for fun. Even in a clash between the Blackarachnia of Transformers animated continuity and the Arachnid of Prime continuity, it's most likely that Arachnid will take the trophy home. We say this because A. Arachnid was able to destroy the mighty Decepticon soldier Breakdown. B. She's experienced at killing multiple species across planets. C. She's armed with blasters. And D. She spews acid. And not to mention her sadistic nature of killing just for sport. Even though Blackarachnia is a more strategic fighter, Arachnid has an edge in terms of combat skills. Can Arachnid be killed? Despite being a fierce warrior and possessing a unique anatomy, Arachnid is not beyond destruction. Though she's never been killed in the Transformers storylines, she was defeated quite a few times by RC. During their first encounter on Earth, RC almost destroyed Arachnid till she escaped by burrowing into the ground. By the end of Transformers Prime series, Arachnid proved not so formidable when RC managed to trap her into a stasis pod, which chopped off some of her spidey legs. Because RC didn't have the intention to kill Arachnid, she remained neutralized for a long time till she was resurrected by Silas and turned into an energon-sucking vampire. Even in the movie Transformers 1, Elita 1 launched a destructive attack against Arachnid, which only incapacitated her. Thus killing Arachnid will be quite a task, but it's not impossible. What happens to Airachnid after Transformers 1? Toward the end of the movie, Airachnid loses to Alita, who never destroys her fully, but injures her enough to access her memories. As we told you, the footage of Sentinel meeting the Quintessons is replayed from Arachnid's memories on the big screens across the city. This was the last time Airachnid appears in the film, following which the storyline shifts to the conflict between D-16 and Orion Pax. And last, when we see Airachnid in the movie, she's gravely injured, but still alive. What exactly happened to her by the end of Transformers 1 remains unclear, which means she can always return in a more villainous role in the sequel. Airachnid hates the Decepticons for killing her former master, Sentinel Prime, so whether she'll be joining Megatron's army remains unsure. It's also unlikely that she'll side with the Autobots, who defeated her and broke into her memories. In Transformers lore, she's known to operate on her own as a bounty hunter across the galaxy, collecting trophies, so she might gravitate towards that as well. Marvel's verdict: the Transformers franchise has always been a little bit light on female butts, which makes a villain like Airachnid a crucial addition to the newly launched animated universe. She's the ultimate hunter, razor-sharp arms and scanner eyes. No wonder this baddie has fans rooting for her return in the sequel. So, what are your thoughts on this Spidey-themed killing machine? Please share with us in the comments section, and if you liked our content, don't forget to check out the other Transformers 1 videos on our channel. Thanks for watching, see you people soon, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.